What exactly is going on with the death of Hulk Hogan? When the wrestling giant died, we believed this was just a tragic natural death. But now, based on statements coming out, including from the local police department, we have to talk, we have to ask, is there something else going on? Let's try to figure it out. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law&Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. You know, it was shocking when Hulk Hogan passed away last month, right? July 24th, at the age of 71, this legendary former six-time WWE wrestling champion. But now, the details surrounding his death, this apparent ongoing investigation into his death, honestly, I don't even know how much more shocking you can get, because we're going to talk about what is coming out right now, including a statement that we got from the police department. So let me go through this. Apparently, Hogan, real name Terry Bollea, stopped breathing at his Clearwater, Florida home. And authorities arrived after a 911 call relating to cardiac arrest was placed. He was pronounced dead at the Morton Plant Hospital, and it was reported that according to the Pinellas County Forensic Science Center, his cause of death was determined to be from a heart attack. His manner of death was ruled natural. This was according to the cremation summary approval report. But then we learned that not only did he have atrial fibrillation, this is a heart condition causing irregular and rapid heart rhythm, but he also had been battling cancer. He was battling chronic lymphocytic leukemia. This is a type of cancer that affects white blood cells. This was reportedly a private fight that he was having. And honestly, that makes sense because we in the public had no idea that was going on. But again, what is happening right now? I will tell you a lot of weird stuff. So first, according to Hogan's widow, Sky Daly, this is per reporting from TMZ Sports and the New York Post, there may have been a mistake during a recent surgery that contributed to Hulk's death. She seems to claim that his phrenic nerve was, quote, compromised. She also stated that an autopsy had been conducted, but she didn't say what those results are. Actually, it's being reported that an occupational therapist who was apparently at Hulk's house, who was present at Hogan's Clearwater, Florida home when he stopped breathing, told police on the scene that a surgeon severed his phrenic nerve during a recent surgery. Now, this is apparently according to a police report that TMZ says is on, quote, lockdown. So TMZ is indicating that police had conversations about what this therapist allegedly told them, and that is captured on body camera video that hasn't been released. By the way, just so everybody knows, this phrenic nerve, according to the Cleveland Clinic, it is very, very important, and it controls your diaphragm, essentially your ability to breathe. According to TMZ, quote, our sources say Hulk did not have a chest-clenching episode before his passing. Rather, he merely stopped breathing. We're told it was his wife, Sky, who sounded the alarm when his breath halted, and that's when the 911 call was made. So as you're trying to process all of that, then you go to what Hulk Hogan's estranged daughter, Brooke, has come out and said. Because it's being reported that they hadn't spoken in 2 years. She didn't attend his wedding. She didn't even want to be in his will. She also apparently didn't attend his funeral on August 5th, but chose to honor him privately with her husband and children, although you will see she's trying to correct the record about a couple of things. However, since her father's death, she has been quite vocal. In fact, it's being reported she offered to pay for an autopsy at one point, saying, with all of the speculation and uncertainty of my dad's death, I want to personally offer to pay for an autopsy if that's what it takes to get it done. My dad's dignity and legacy deserves it. And she announced that her father's cremation would actually be delayed because there were questions surrounding the care that he had been receiving, saying, I'm glad to see that my dad has not been cremated and that Sky is waiting because of family questions. All right, so this is definitely a story that we wanted to bring to you, and the reason we can do that is because of the amazing support that we get from our sponsor, Morgan & Morgan. This is America's largest injury law firm. This is a firm with over 1,000 attorneys. You know why they have so many? Because they win a lot. They have recovered over $25 billion for more than 500,000 clients. In the past few months, listen to this, a client in Florida received $12 million after the insurance company offered just $350,000. Out in Pennsylvania, a client was awarded $26 million. That is 40 times the insurer's $650,000 offer. Another client in Pennsylvania received $29 million. That was after being offered only $500,000. And even if you think your case isn't worth millions of dollars, why not just start a claim and fight for what you deserve? Morgan & Morgan makes it so simple. You can start a claim from your phone in just 8 clicks. So if you're injured, you can easily start a claim at forthepeople.com/LC sidebar by clicking the link below or scanning the QR code on screen. By the way, Hulk Hogan's death certificate, we have it. It shows that he was supposed to be cremated, and TMZ reports that Sky told them again that an autopsy was conducted, but the results weren't available. And let's actually talk about what she said in a series of recent Instagram posts. Since the media continues to twist the narrative, here's all I know. So stop speculating, stop asking. I've also informed my brother Nick Hogan of all of this information, who is boots on the ground with everything. Fact. I've 100% gotten legit calls from professionals, from police officials to nurses that were supposedly with my dad on the day of his death, telling me I need to see body cam footage and I need to get a hold of the 911 tapes because they supposedly contain information that could potentially shed enough light to change the narrative everyone's been hearing. Those same professionals feel so passionately about what they witnessed, they have continued to contact me and push me to find specific answers to this very day. They are quite literally putting their careers at risk because they feel so compelled to do the right thing. The short of it is, it's all up to my dad's wife and I have zero control. I cannot do anything. My hands are tied and I have no say in anything regarding my dad, even as his daughter. Those are the rules as I've been told. I do not have any information on if or when he is being cremated. Could have been right after he died, could be tomorrow, I do not know. I have been told by my brother that there will be an autopsy. I do not know who will be performing the autopsy. Any information I receive from an autopsy, if one happens, whether I believe it or not, I will be keeping private out of respect for my father. I do not have answers as to if the officials who have contacted me about what they witnessed relayed this information to the medical examiner's office. And if they did, I do not know why it wasn't taken into consideration. All body cam footage and 911 dispatch calls are not available via the Freedom of Information Act. It's all on lockdown. I do not know why. Do I question his general physician signing off on his death certificate, given his background, which is available for anyone to see via a simple Google search? You can answer that one for yourself. I have to trust that my brother is doing his best to get answers. At the end of the day, answers would be great, but none of it brings my dad back, and my hands are tied. So please stop misquoting, speculating, and asking me if I know anything. I cannot get any information. I know you think I could, being his blood, but I can't. We are already dealing with enough. I will not be talking about this mystery anymore. Now, by the way, we have a copy of that death certificate. It was issued July 31st. It has information about the date of death, the name, all that. It does say that the method of disposition is cremation, and the place of cremation is the Bay Area Crematory, Clearwater, Florida. Now, Sky, again, his wife, his widow, spoken out on Instagram too. Quote, Terry chose cremation knowing this physical life is temporary and his heavenly body eternal. He has not yet been cremated, as our family is making sure every question about his medical care is answered first. Once we have that peace of mind, we will honor his wish and fulfill it with love and respect. And she warned about misinformation being circulated online, created by faceless AI accounts or by people not close enough to truly know what was happening. But before we go any further, now we have a statement from Clearwater Police. Okay, from the police department. This is actually from Rob Shaw, the public information officer of the Clearwater Police Department, who sent to Law&Crime, and it reads, the Clearwater Police Department continues its investigation into the July 24 death of Terry Bollea, also known as Hulk Hogan. We have been in communication with family members, including his son Nick and daughter Brooke. The unique nature of this case has required us to interview multiple witnesses and seek medical records from a variety of providers, and our detectives continue to do that. All of this takes time. The Hogan family has been appreciative of our efforts and our communication with them. Until the investigation is completed, no records related to the case, including body camera footage, can be released. That is police department policy in every case. We plan to meet with the family and brief them on the case to this point, and we will share the results of the investigation with the family prior to closing the case and releasing it to the public and media. Wow. Now, to be clear about something, there has been no reporting of any kind of foul play associated with Hulk Hogan's death. So not entirely sure what the focus of this investigation could be exactly, but let's get some perspective. So right now I want to bring on trial attorney Alea Roberts to talk more about this. Alea, great to see you. Thank you so much for taking the time. Can we start with the police statement?
Seems, just as it has been revealed by the police, that they might be trying to do their best to be politically correct, but it seems that there's something foul amiss. I have questions as to why the occupational therapist was at the home on the day of Hulk Hogan's death, and if he was interviewed and the police have that body camera footage, why the family has not seen the footage yet.
Do you think there's a connection between that? Like, we have to speak to witnesses, we have to look at medical records. Do you think it's linked up to that allegation of something that happened at a surgery?
It's possible. I think that obviously the medical records will tell you what did or did not happen, whatever history, his medical history that he has. Obviously, he was dealing with AFib or atrial fibrillation. He had that prior surgery. But as far as his actual phrenic nerve being compromised, I'm unsure. But regarding the actual police statements, I think that the police should have let the family see whatever conversations were had with the occupational therapist.
But that's typically how it works in an investigation, right? They're not going to let us know what's happening. They will let the family know. This could take a minute, but it does make me wonder, is this more of a situation we're looking into everything, okay? They mentioned closing the case. Is it we're going to make sure that no crime was committed here, that there was no foul play, we're going to close it and then we'll reveal it? Or is there something else going on?
That's what it seems like, right? Because usually if there's a medical malpractice issue, if you're filing a claim for medical malpractice,
the police wouldn't investigate.
The police would not investigate that. That's when you go to an attorney. The attorney who specializes in medical malpractice will get the records, review the records, determine whether or not there's been any foul play or the standard of care has not been met, the medical standard of care. So the police being involved, of course, gives me a huge, woo, 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 for lack of a better word, and a red flag as far as why are they there and why are they involved if it was just medical malpractice.
Is she right, Brooke Hogan, that her hands are tied, that even though she is his daughter, she does not have the right to make certain decisions or get more information, that it would really be up to his widow?
Absolutely, absolutely. The widow is now the power of attorney, and she's the only person who has, under HIPAA, she's the only person who has the ability to get Hulk Hogan's medical records. His daughter can't get the medical records because she has no license or ability, with her being the daughter and her not having any access to, like, HIPAA. It's the power of attorney, which is his wife.
What do you think of the idea of holding off on the cremation?
Well, I think it's a good idea because if there was a foul play, if there was a sever of the phrenic nerve, if there was an issue with atrial fibrillation, an autopsy will be able to do that. That's why you do them if there is any question of a cause of death, right? I can take the heart out, I can look at the heart, I can look at the nerves, if it was compromised or severed, I'm going to be able to see that when I open up his body and I look at his nerves.
Let's talk about what a potential medical malpractice lawsuit would look like. Again, I don't have details about this surgery, what the surgery was for, when the surgery happened, what was going on. But my immediate thought was, causation, right? And trying to establish that. What are you thinking about in terms of a medical malpractice lawsuit?
I think timing matters, right? Because
explain that, yeah.
Yeah, so if just the way that the body works, right? The phrenic nerve, as we know, is the nerve that controls your breathing. So if it was compromised or severed, was he having shortness of breath up into his cause of death? Was there anything that was different about that? Because if it was severed, he would have not been able to breathe immediately, right? If it was pinched and maybe it continued to break as he continued to go on with occupational therapy or his everyday life, that might have been something that could have been avoided depending on the surgeon. And then you have to have another surgeon look at the medical records, because that's what medical malpractice attorneys do, right? We're lawyers, we're not doctors, but we know medicine. So we have an expert doctor that looks at the records and says, yes, he definitely compromised this nerve based off of the way in which the operative report is written, because it's supposed to be in the operative report if there was something that went awry.
So based on what the reporting is right now, it seems that there was a conclusion by some in his inner circle or medical professionals that that nerve might have been compromised before he died. They came to that conclusion because it doesn't seem like there was an autopsy conducted and they say, uh-oh, this was compromised. So this was a conclusion before he died, right? That's what's interesting about it. I mean, again, taking it as true, what the body cam might reveal, what the occupational therapist might have said. Was it a situation where he was in a bad state, or does it happen sudden? You know, this is what's so strange about it.
Right, and I think that's what we talk about with timing, right? Timing matters, because if something like this happens, like where it's severed or compromised, there's a difference between I've nicked this nerve and I've completely cut it, right? I've completely snipped it. That's why I say, like, if it was a nick versus like an actual severed, he wouldn't have been able to breathe at all and he wouldn't have come back from anesthesia at all, right? But if it was just even a little pinch, right? Even I slice it just a hair, and then you continue to go on with your everyday life. Now you're moving, and your neck is moving, your body is moving, you're getting up, you're getting down, you're going on with everyday life. And if there was any type of shortness of breath or any type of issues that could have been associated with his atrial fibrillation, because sometimes you have shortness of breath with AFib. So
Right.
maybe if he was having that, maybe his wife, who's not a medical professional, thought, oh, it's just the AFib, we'll take your medicine and continue on doing what we're doing.
What did you make of Brooke Hogan's statement? I mean, on one hand, it's such a heart-wrenching situation for the family to be dealing with. And on top of that, as they're dealing with the grief and the loss, now they have to deal with the public and information coming out and trying to set the record straight. What did you make of her Instagram posts?
I think she did all that she can do, right? Because unfortunately, when you're the child of a celebrity, you're expected to make a statement. When something like this comes out, like, hey, the death might have been caused by foul play, or there might have been an issue with the surgery, right? And we as the people, like the social media, the bots or whoever, the viewers, we want to know what happened, right? We're doing our own investigation. We're trying to Google and see what we can find out as well. And we're expecting you to find out and tell us because we want to know. And it's hard because she's grieving, so it's unfair.
There is something else that she said that I want to get into about potential legal consequences. So Brooke went on TMZ Live, and she took aim at those in her father's inner circle. And she did it to fight back against essentially what are fake narratives about her relationship with her father regarding not reaching out to him or returning unopened gifts, not going to his funeral. This is what she said, quote, "Whoever is spinning this negative narrative about me, trying to get ahead or discredit me or whatever they're trying to do, what I've been hearing, it's so false, it's laughable. It's making me mad. It only tells me that their golden goose is gone. I rely on my father for nothing financially. I have my own job. My husband has a job. We do not have any money coming in from my father since I was 18 years old. Everybody else relied on him for a paycheck, and now that golden goose is gone. So I don't know if I'm their emotional, guilty punching bag or if they're afraid of what I know, because I know a lot that I don't talk about. I know a lot. It's pathetic and it's disgusting, to be honest. And I don't really know who's spinning these things, but one of the things was Hulk sent gifts that Brooke returned. Let me tell you something, brother, no pun intended. My dad was not one to put things in a box and tape it up and take it to UPS. My dad sent flowers. That was his thing. Nick and Tanya sent us beautiful little baby gifts when our kids were born. They had our address. No gifts came here. No flowers came here. And you can't return flowers." And regarding a report that her father begged her for forgiveness, she said they did have multiple conversations and that he did apologize, but not entirely clear for what exactly. Quote, "Whatever representative from that camp that continues to spew these lies, if they want to keep going, grab your best hold, grab your best lawyers, because I'm ready to go. Because I'm done with it. I'm done. This is ridiculous. I know too much. I've been through too much. I'm not to be played with. I'm done, so it better stop. This is ridiculous that it's gone to this point of war of words, and that's why I'm here with you to put it to rest. My dad has finally been put to rest. Leave him alone. Leave me alone, and let the poor man go to heaven and just end it. Stop coming after me. I'm not the one you want to come after." What does that statement tell you?
That there's a potential suit for defamation that is coming. Because if you have spread mistruths about me and you have continued to spew lies that have affected me and emotionally, or if she can argue that they've affected her from her business standpoint, she might have lost potential brand deals or anything like that. I'm telling you to stop. So it starts with a cease and desist, right? I hire a lawyer.
That's almost the cease and desist in a way.
It's not essentially, it is, right? But it's not from a legal. It's not from an attorney, and it's not on letterhead, right? Because for whatever reason, when you get a letter from an attorney on letterhead, all of a sudden, you get a little concerned, right? Yeah, now it's official. Now it's like, oh, I need to be quiet now. Some people don't respect those letters and they continue, and that's when we have a defamation lawsuit, because now you're continuing to ignore me telling you to stop talking about me.
But when you're dealing with a public figure like Brooke Hogan, it could be a little bit of a higher standard.
Is Brooke Hogan a public figure?
I think she's a public figure. She was on the show. A lot of people know her. So, and the reason why that matters is because with a public figure, there's a higher standard legally, right?
Right, you have to prove actual malice, right? But I don't think that's going to be difficult for her to prove. You're attacking me when my father passed away. I don't think, and you're doing.
Well, the statements, right, have to be not only false. You have to say the person knew they were false, so they acted with reckless disregard for the truth.
Correct.
But I don't know exactly what the statements are.
We don't know, but if they're being made and they're being published to a third person, right? That's the publication, right? It doesn't have to be I'm going on Instagram and I'm like Brooke did, and I'm making my entire 5-6 page paragraphs about Brooke and what's going on. As long as they were published to a third person, that's publication.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're going to keep a careful eye on this. It was interesting. We weren't even sure we wanted to talk about it until there was something new that was going on. But with the police statement, with Brooke's statement, with this idea of a compromised nerve, how can we not address what's happening here?
I'm very interested to see the police involvement, because once the police start doing an investigation, that means that something is going on. Something is going on.
We'll continue to follow it. Alea Roberts, thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate it. It was great seeing you.
Thank you, Jesse. Always a pleasure.
And that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you should get your podcasts. I'm Jesse Weber. I'll speak to you next time.